All right, thanks for staying with us. We sincerely apologize for the hitches in our audio there. Shola, you may want to share with us again your opening thoughts about the state of insecurity and how that impacts on the education sector.
Education itself is a key to life. You don't have it, you lose everything. And it's so painful that we've had this in the greater part of the northern region of this country. And they have grown to a point where the ones that manage these young ones, out of school children, has grown to become a man. And when you don't have what it takes to keep them, it's going to lead to all kinds of vices. And that's why you're having this level of security. And when the issue of Boko Haram started, a lot of people predicted the fact that when it begins to grow, the nation might not be able to handle it. And it has come to that point where, I don't know, maybe like it has been said that a state of emergency should be declared in most of this part of the north. And if they have to, do we have the capacity to curtail whatever is needed to manage the state of emergency in that part? And it's going down to the east, okay? And a lot of killings are going on without even asking for ransom. At the end of the day, you hear the issue of rituals. And robbery is growing up now in the west, and all kinds of evil forces of the element of security. I want to believe that at this junction, if the government is sincere, they must all come together and stop playing politics about this, because this thing is consuming almost everybody. Today, let's give it to the Lagos State government. Let's give it to Lagos State government and some part of the states where they can still manage their security. I believe that this authority all over, from state and at the national level, must come together, because it is vital. If we cannot manage it now, in the next 6 to 7 months, you'll be surprised of what is going to happen. Because at that point, majority of the political individuals that are in government now will be working towards shifting home. And that is not what, we are not looking at that part. You see those who are governors preparing to contest for the House of Senate. The job of politics might end up taking over.
Okay, let's
what needs to be done.
Engineer Mohammed, you have probably a better understanding of what plays out in Kaduna State. I understand you frequent that region very often. You have also accused state governors of being responsible for what has played out in their state for quite some time now. Why is that so? Because a lot of persons tend to rather finger the center. We believe that there's so much power at the center, and even a state governor can't even control the commissioner of police in his state. That's why people have been calling for state governors, or state police rather.
The last speaker should not be a prophet of doom. Nigeria has come to stay. But all we are saying, all hands must be on deck. We have the responsibility to keep Nigeria one and to fight the insecurity we are seeing today. On the issue of Kaduna, we have been saying it oftentimes. You see, what played out recently, for example, in Osun State and Niger State, these governors, they took the bull by the horn by establishing local hunters. Like in Osun, I just saw about a week ago, over 42,000 local hunters were recruited. They were armed. They are forests now. In Niger State, the governor, over 2,000 hunters were recruited. What we learned now is that all these criminals have started running from Niger State back to Zamfara and Katsina State. So that's why we kept saying the governors have an enormous role to play by using their security force, recruiting the locals, so that they will join hands with the police and the security operatives to fight this criminality. I kept hammering on, because I even had on TVC the other day, they were saying somebody was supporting the governors, that they used to buy vehicles, they used to arm the police. Well, if they buy vehicles and arm police, the only thing the federal government can do is to assist them by also giving them all the intervention they have been giving them and the federal allocation, which we know every time they collect from the federation account. This insecurity, believe me sincerely, from what the governor said earlier, that he was not going to negotiate or sit around the table with the criminals. That's why we can see this
Nigerians
up such today.
For that sole reason.
No, it's APC now. He has said it.
We hope he's now looking for my men. Initially, the civilian JTF, I told you in the last interview, as the chairman of civilian JTF in Kaduna State and Nigeria now, we wrote him 3 letters when he came in. Even PDP, which was in opposition, gave us support. We have boys, everybody boys, who are willing to be at the front so that the security agencies can follow them from behind, and then we can trash these people. He didn't want to do it initially, but now that the things are getting out of hands, he's now calling upon our boys. So the governors are supposed to be the chief security of their states. Let them use their security force judiciously. Arm these local community hunters. They know the terrain, they know all these forests. They are the ones that are very close to the local government. If our governors wipe out all these bandits
Right about now, let's see now if we can probably even take some views from some of our viewers. Just take some views from some of the calls we are receiving and text messages now on the program and see how we can round off. Maybe Sunday you want to probably even respond to these kidnappings because looking at some of the statistics, the statistics are really very worrying, very worrying.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work on a story on the state of insecurity, and I understand that between January and June, about in the northwest, 1,405 persons have been kidnapped. In the north central, 942 persons have been kidnapped. In the northeast, 210, south 140, southwest 169, southeast 77. In the northern Nigeria alone, about almost 3,000 persons have been kidnapped, according to data from StatiSense, an online platform. But what are your initial thoughts about this?
Yeah, the whole situation is very worrisome. You've just read out the statistics.
And let me even just ask you, would you put this on the tables of the governors or the federal government? No.
It is the primary responsibility of the federal government, Mr. President. He's the commander-in-chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He controls the Nigerian military, he controls the paramilitary and all agencies. So it is the primary responsibility of Mr. President to put this thing under control. Let's establish that. To talk about the governors, like shifting the goalpost, because to whom you cannot absorb the man who had the primary responsibility to perform a function, and now begin to blame those who do not have the constitutional. Anyway, let me say I agree that they have constitutional power because they can also recognize that as the chief security officer of their states, even though they don't have the control over the army and the police. But this situation we are facing is a very critical situation, and that, like he said, there have been attempts for community ownership of the crisis, because that is one area to look into. Community ownership in the sense of what people can do to now protect their own entity, their territory.
All right.
That is one. But Mr. President himself, I feel for him, because it seems that he does not know that he's going to leave a legacy at the end of his tenure. So what legacy is the president leaving behind with all this, with this insecurity, that the magnitude is going higher every day? Okay. But the presidency also so, because in most of their statements, it will appear that they have ideas about the insecurity crisis, especially in the north. Because one of the statements from the presidency, so to say, I recall where Mr. President was saying that governors should stop giving money, buying cars to bandits. So why should northern governors be buying cars, giving money to bandits under the guise of amnesty, under the guise that they have repented?
All right,
so what gave you the guarantee that they will not recycle that money to acquire more arms?
Let's get a few